I'm going to stay in Israel for the next few minutes, Amir, because headlines keep telling me there's a gathering storm, particularly on Israel's northern border. Within Syria, oh my goodness, we've got Russia, we've got Iran, we've got ISIS, Hezbollah is all over the place. For that matter, I think we've got North Korea in Syria. Look, North Korea had a reactor there back in 2007 in Syria that Israel took out in September of '07. So I'm sure North Korea is messing around in Syria as well. So the gathering storm on Israel's northern border. Tell me where you think this is going. Obviously, Israel has already struck in Syria, actually has even struck parts of Damascus as far as taking out weapons.
Well, first of all, one more sign of the end is that Israel is definitely facing on its northern border the massing of soldiers and weapons and aircraft, all of that, from Russia and Iran, even Turkey, by the way, is rolling its forces into Syria. And of course, Iran's proxies, the Hezbollah. ISIS is vanishing.
Yeah.
ISIS disappears. And the funny thing is, it's really almost like if it wasn't sad, we would be able to laugh about it. But the only thing that really stands in the way of Iran to expand, Iran and Russia to expand, is ISIS. The ISIS corridor is the thing that is basically separating the Kurds backed by the U.S. and Iran backed by Russia. So it's who would believe that we may need to slow down the destruction of ISIS in order to stop the Iranians from advancing. Now, we see that Iran understand that under the Russian auspices, they can do things that they couldn't do before. So they were sure that they can manufacture chemical and biological weapon and even just medium-range missiles on Syrian soil, and they were sure Israel won't do anything to them. And came the day, and Israel launched an attack and destroyed that facility, which, normally we destroy weapons, we destroy rockets. This time, just as we did 10 years ago, we destroyed the manufacturing facility of the weapon, not the weapon itself.
That's right.
And that is a game changer. And the Iranians, they're still in a state of a shock. They really don't know what to say, because if they say something, that will expose their involvement. And so they say nothing, but yet we know that it was mostly Iranian bodies that were taken out of that building. We know that the Russians may have somehow turned blind eye to the Israeli attack, because they probably reckon that God knows if that weapon of chemical or biological might one day turn against them. And so it probably even served their interest, what Israel did. But make no mistake, we're running out of credit with Putin. Iran is still there. The Turks are scared that the Kurds are going to declare statehood and become independent. So they roll their tanks into Syria, and hoping it won't happen. And everything is set for the stage of Ezekiel war. So Israel understands that our biggest challenge will be in the north, and therefore we just conducted the largest military drill of the last 20 years.
I know you did.
In northern Israel. And we don't do that normally, and certainly we don't tell the world that we're doing that unless we wanted everybody to know that don't play games with us. It will end up nasty. And when I say nasty, when I say bad, it might lead to the destruction of Damascus.
Yes.
Which I believe
the Bible says so.
Yeah, Damascus has to be destroyed. Ezekiel has to take place. So these two things are a fact. Now, we can play with the rest as much as we want, but these are facts. Now, who will destroy Damascus? No one knows, but the way things are shaping and forming themselves, it's pretty obvious.
Well, that's Isaiah 17, folks, so you might want to read that, because it's going to happen. We just don't know the timing. The Times of Israel says this. Recently, they said, unless the United States, Europe, and the international community wake up to the dangers posed by Iran's malign efforts in Lebanon and Syria, then Israel will be left on its own to deal with the implications of the gathering storm on its northern borders. And, I've watched you a little bit online, and you and Jack Hibbs, and you're on the Golan Heights, you guys, and you're calmly having a Bible study, or you're kind of relaxing up on the Golan Heights, but not all that far away. You can even hear some artillery or some kind of shells
Yes.
going off the other side of the border.
Correct. Let me tackle one more thing about this. I believe that the North Korean affair is a smokescreen, and I believe that the Russian military drill in Belarus and Kaliningrad right now is a smokescreen.
Okay.
We've been detecting over the last, 2 weeks, an amazing air traffic of not fighter jets. I'm talking about cargo planes that can bring up to 400 soldiers each in and out of Syria. And I'm talking about Russian ones. And so we're not sure if it's their trick to get the world's attention somewhere else so they can gather the masses of their forces in Syria. But one thing is for sure, when you get the attention of the world in other places, then the element of surprise can, of course, play into your hands.